Bloody Mary, anybody?
I think that might be the best title, but I'm not going to use it. Bloody Mary? I know there's going to be people that are so diehard with AEW. You're going to say, look now. You want to say that AEW doesn't do great stories? Look what we just saw. Look what happened to Malachi Black. Look what happened to Swerve. Look what happened to Bryan Danielson. Look at all that. And I know a lot of people are going to say that, and I can easily say, yes, we got a good amount of stuff for this show before going to Double or Nothing. I will not deny that. But is it all good storytelling in AEW? Is it still a straight direction for AEW? I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not waiting to the end. Going into Double or Nothing, we literally have a lot of questions if everything is going to be great or not afterward. I'm telling you right now, this is not a break and make moment for AEW. This is what people don't understand. Right now, as it stands, AEW is not going under. This is what many people are thinking. AEW is totally screwed. It's never going to survive. AEW is not going under. It's got other contracts. It's making money. It's making money for its pay-per-view. It's just the attendance for the arenas that suck. Honestly, that's the major issue here. They're not going to go under like WCW. Remember, WCW, ECW. ECW could not get a new deal, and pretty much they didn't change the style of their product. And because they couldn't get a new deal, and they couldn't get an understanding that they need to vary their product enough to capture even more people, they went under. WCW, remember, WCW went under because when Turner pretty much could not do the AOL deal, and they almost went bankrupt, and on top of that, because of the bankruptcy of Turner and his company, that dragged down WCW, who was already hemorrhaging money because they were paying such big, huge contracts to a lot of the wrestlers. They went beyond the budget. And next to that, even though their product was really good with Bischoff, they basically went from 83 weeks and WWE like this to flip like this. And with Turner's company going under because of bankruptcy, Turner sold it. We're not getting that in AEW. Tony's not selling the company, and they're not running out of money. It's just not a good direction right now when it comes to the product. But it's not 100% bad. Gotta understand this. Because this is what we got. This is what's in our faces. The product is not great. But it's not going out of business. That is the major issue we have here. Now let's move on. First, Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay versus Trent and Roderick Strong. Let me give it to you like this. Did I enjoy the match? Yes, it was not a bad match. Did I like the ending of the match? When it came to seeing that it was, the most of the match was always about Orange wanting to get his hands on Trent. And Roderick wanted to make sure that Will just did not make it to the end. And then getting his head busted open. And seeing that Trent was beating the living whole hell out of Orange. And Don could not stop it. You could see that they want to make sure that both these stories are prominent. Will's story with Roderick Strong is a prominent one. Seeing that Warlow laid out pretty much, basically once Warlow hit Will, you're thinking, is the Undisputed Kingdom now going against Don Callis family? No, not at this point. They're not. Because the Don Callis family is not consolidated. Contesca is not going against the Undisputed Kingdom. Will Ospreay is not going against the Undisputed Kingdom. And Orange, who even though has been spoken about like he's a member of the Don Callis family, which we haven't heard him say it, is not going against the Undisputed Kingdom. This is just a stepping stone to see what's going to happen for Will getting a title, for Orange getting Trent, and is Don going to maintain control of Trent and Orange along with Kateska, and basically Hobbs is still out. He's injured, he's out, so what are we going to do next? That's what it looks like. Next, number one contendership for the FTW title. We got two of the normal suspects, and one who was a dark horse, and Brian Keefe. Now, I want to say this about Brian Keefe. Do I like the bounty hunter? Yeah. Do I wish they would show more of him? Yes. This is one of the problems I see that they have with new talent. Doesn't matter if they're old veterans or there's someone who's just been in the business only a few years. They just don't know how to use them correctly in some type of segment in the back. Let's make it clear. Their vid packs are not bad, but when it comes to segment in the back to be interviewed, you should be doing more interviews with Brian Keefe on Dynamite. Yeah, you've done maybe one in Collision, but you don't do anything on Dynamite. And it can't be because it's a 2-hour show. If it's that bad, get rid of Rampage altogether and give a 3 hours to Dynamite. That's the best way to go. Because right now, Rampage is coming on at 6 on Friday before the countdown to Double or Nothing. I don't care about the countdown. And I don't care about Rampage. Now, well, I have to acknowledge the countdown to make you hype for Double or Nothing. But Rampage, eliminate it. Put 2 hours for Collision, 3 hours for Dynamite. They need it. They're doing overruns now on Dynamite, at least more than a few times now. Just make it a 3-hour show. 3 hours, or at least 2.5 hours. Instead of 10, make it 10:30. I don't care. Just add an extra 30 minutes on Dynamite. That would do it. That would give you extra to work with. Or better yet, split the difference from Rampage. 30 minutes extra on Dynamite, 30 minutes extra on Collision. End. Collision now goes to 2 hours and 30 minutes. Dynamite goes to 2 hours and 30 minutes. If you want to keep them both even in time, but you want to make sure it's not too long, give them extra 30 minutes each. Just when they renegotiate the contract, I think that would be the wisest thing. Let's move on. What do I believe happened during that match? With Shibata and with Hook? A lot of suplexes. A lot of hard hits, which wasn't bad. Seeing that Brian Keefe was getting the chop of death was not bad. Seeing that he was getting pretty much suplexed to death was not bad. But now seeing that Shibata and Hook were the ones who won, because of tap out, both of them tapped out Brian Keefe at the same time. Red Rum and a figure 4. He tapped to both at the same time. He didn't have to tap at both times. The only thing he had to do was just tap once, and since they both were attached onto him, that would have been it. But he tapped his chest and his leg at the same time, saying they both were getting, and the fans were not too happy about it. This shows they couldn't figure out who was the right person to go up against a very, very conceited Chris Jericho. And I must say this about Chris, because I've heard through the comments, Chris Jericho pretty much is getting booed and pretty much is saying he needs to retire because of the allegations of Kylie Ray. Kylie Ray. Seriously? If anybody leaves a comment, I'm going to say the same thing as I say it here. Kylie Ray came out and 100% said none of that happened. She didn't need to say that. She didn't need to say that Chris basically did something to me. Or she could have, but she didn't. I know I sounded confused there. But that's the best way it is when it comes to people who seem to not remember that Kylie Ray said nothing happened. Nothing happened, she said. So people are still bringing up on Reddit, and there's one person that I need to say this to. The one who leads me to Sonnet. You know who you are, my friend. Stop reading Reddit for a while. Leave it. Leave Reddit alone. I say this, Reddit is almost reaching the point like X was and is. It's a cesspool. It's one of the reasons I don't watch or check out Reddit much like X. It is a very toxic environment. Yes, they have some very good things on it for like learning how to cook, how to make things, and some ideology that some cases is good, but they got a lot of bad on Reddit. I'm telling you now, and you know who you are, and I'll probably say this when you leave me a sonnet again, dude, if you bring up again something from Reddit, I'm going to say, dude, leave Reddit alone for a week or 2 weeks. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. And each time you mention Reddit, I'm going to tell you, dude, leave Reddit alone for a week and see how your life feels. If you say, I just can't do that, then you're always going to be on the side of Reddit, even when they're wrong. And you know they'll be wrong too, because you're going to see it. Moving on. Kateska versus Seidel. What did we really get there? We got Seidel basically being sacrificed for Kateska, since we haven't been seeing a lot of Kateska, because he wants to have this eliminator match, which it's not a title match. It's a freaking eliminator match. Really? So, this eliminator match, if he wins his match, he gets to face whoever is going up against Moxley when he goes back to New Japan to defend that damn title. So, if it's Mox or anyone from New Japan Pro Wrestling, because I don't know who it is that he's going to have as challenger soon, we're going to have Kateska. And here's the thing. If Mox loses the title, will we actually see the match? Or will we just be told about the match? This is where, if you're going to bring in other promotions like New Japan Pro Wrestling or Stardom or Shimmer, why not show 30 seconds or 10 seconds of their product? Because it would be nice for the people there to see and understand. You know who won? Kateska. Now, Swerve Strickland versus Nick Gage. Well, I'm not saying Nick Gage. I think the reason I said Nick Gage is because how rough it got at the end of the match. It's Nick Wayne. But I think the reason I said Nick Gage is because if things had gone the way it was, we would have seen a GCW match. Which wouldn't have been a match. It would have just been a slaughter. That's the deal, guys. What do we get from Nick Wayne and Swerve Strickland? A match that should have closed the show. A match that should have closed the show. I'm telling you the truth. This match should have closed the show. It's not the point if the match was good or not. This is Swerve Strickland, your world heavyweight champion. Why is he in the 1 hour main event? What? You did that weeks upon weeks ago when he opened the damn show with Fletcher. Many weeks ago when that should have never happened. It should have been his own main event. And now you have Nick Wayne with Swerve. And then you have what happened afterward. Because the match was good, but it happened afterward when Killswitch attacked him. And then he managed to get over on... I'm hoping, because if you didn't notice, when Killswitch got thrown over the top turnbuckle and rope, his left knee got caught in the ropes of the top rope and the middle rope. I am hoping he did not tear anything in his knee. That scared me because his knee twisted hard. I am so hoping that he did not tear anything. I'm begging, because they have a lot of injuries. They don't need Killswitch out. I'm hoping it's okay. If you didn't see it, watch it again on a replay, because you'll see his left knee gets caught between the top turn rope. As he was on the top turnbuckle, he got thrown over. His knee went between the top turnbuckle. Here's the turnbuckle. Here's the rope. Here's the rope. His leg got caught in both, and it got pulled hard. Remember, those are steel cables. He could have torn his knee. But what we got afterward, we basically got finally, and I even wrote it in my notes, where is Nana? As a Swerve chases down a Christian because he knew he was in trouble. He was trying to get into an SUV. He gets blocked by Nana in another SUV. Then he gets beaten up a bit, gets basically DDT'd on the SUV because he tried to escape Swerve. Swerve's handed a chair by Nana and almost got nailed in the head by it. He managed to escape. This should have closed the show. You should be doing something with your champion, making it mean something important. We didn't get that. Now, what did we really get with Malachi Black versus Kyle O'Reilly? This is where things are very complicated. Was it a good match? Hell yes, it was. Kyle and Malachi had a perfectly good match. But here's the problem. When was the last time you saw Malachi Black in a singles match? I had to say that quietly. When the hell was the last time we saw Malachi Black in a singles match on Dynamite? Not talking about Collision, not talking about Rampage. Dynamite. we haven't seen it in so long that it felt awkward when we saw him. Not saying he can't wrestle, but since he's now having this match with Christian, well, not Christian, but I think the reason I brought up Christian because of Adam was because of what happened at the end. Because that could have been something that could have been done to Christian from Adam. Adam could have done that to Christian. That's why I was thinking about it. Because I was thinking when what happened to Malachi, what happened to him after the match was over and the lights started flickering red, I'm going like, what's going on? I know this has to be Adam doing this. But then you see, it looks like ketchup spilled all over the ring. And from what we understand from the next match, got a lot of it on Taz. Taz was not happy. He got that shit over his clothes to a certain extent. He was not happy. He was complaining like a bitch during the show. And if you could hear the commentary when it was in picture, because I was able to watch it in not picture, but the other feed, because I did check. He was just complaining like a bitch. But it's understandable. If your suit is messed up, you pay a couple $100, you don't want your clothes full of whatever it was. I think it might have been ketchup. But I thought this would have been great for Christian. That Adam reverted back to what they were as a brood together, and he just wanted to get the blood of Christian and just go and eat it. This is what we got with Malachi Black. And you see in the Titantron, you see that, honestly, once you see Adam come out and go, ha 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 ha, with this, it looks like he's got fangs. Unfortunately, my teeth are still crooked from my wisdom teeth being messed up. I'm going to have to get braces. I'm 53 this year, and I'm going to have to get braces for how badly knocked out of whack my wisdom teeth made my life. But seeing his teeth like he's got fangs, you think he's gone back to the brood, to being a vampire. I'm not saying that's bad. It's actually interesting. But this felt like it needed to be its own main event. Or it should have been the 1 hour main event. That's what this should have been. Not near the end of the show. This should have been the 1 hour main event. Something special. Something that meant something. That's what the neither at the end of the show on 1 hour main event is supposed to be. That's what it felt like it should have been. Moving on. Of course, you already know Malachi won, but just in case. Tasteless Toni Storm and Mariah May versus Saraya. How can I say about this match? When it came to Saraya and Harley Cameron, sad. I'm going to say it's sad. I'm saying it's sad. And it's not about the match quality. Let's make it clear. The match quality is not the issue here. And seeing that Saraya's brother is now working at AEW, because I didn't know until I checked on AEW's YouTube channel, and when I wanted to know what was going on with what happened to Ruby Soho, because I hadn't seen her in so long, and then they started talking about Ruby in some form or fashion, going like, what happened to Ruby? No, when it was like 2.5 weeks ago, when I was talking about, look what happened when it comes to Mercedes Moné, and everyone's saying she's going to change the game. Didn't they say that with Saraya? Didn't they say that with Ruby Soho? You got now 3 women that got nowhere after they joined. And I thought, what is Ruby Soho doing? Is she with Danny Lamont Parker? And that's what I was thinking. No, what is this? I forgot his name. Parker. His name is Parker. I forgot his name. But I wondered what was going on. And then I saw, when I saw this situation, I thought I should look on the AEW channel. Maybe there might be something about Ruby. And then there was an entire hour and 15 minutes on the relationship between her and Parker. And I watched it. And then I found out they had an actual storyline that went up to a year that we didn't see on Dynamite. And it was mainly on Rampage. Not Collision. Rampage. That Parker and Soho had a storyline on Rampage that barely was shown on Dynamite and almost non-existent on fucking Collision. Which culminated, if you don't know, you probably don't know, Ruby's pregnant.
Not a work.
A legitimate shoot. I knew they were having a relationship, but she literally said in the middle of the ring, because when it came to Parker, he said, I don't know if I want to keep doing this anymore. I'm done. Well, guess what? In the story, she found out that he needed to continue fighting and working in AEW because she's now pregnant. Supposing in real life, she's pregnant, having a real baby. And for one to understand, she's not going to be on TV for much longer. If she's still on TV, she's going to be working with him because she's going to have a legitimate child. And we knew nothing of this on Collision and Dynamite.
Tell me again, they do storytelling.
A year-long story between Parker and Ruby Soho that involved Soraya, Harley Cameron, Soraya's brother, I don't remember, I think his name is Zach, I don't remember, with them for almost near a year, that culminated in Soraya legitimately openly stating she's now pregnant. Was done on fucking Collision. No, not Collision, sorry, I'm not saying fucking Collision. Calm down. Rampage. You couldn't give her Collision. You couldn't give her Dynamite to reveal she's pregnant. If I'm wrong and it's a work, you can tell me below. But it's not. She's pregnant with Parker's child. They did a whole year story culminating in this. Unless it's a fake story and they're going to show that she has a miscarriage because of Soraya and Harley Cameron and her brother Zach, if they're going there. But if it's not, this sucks that we didn't see this storyline. They weren't willing to do it on only on Rampage, not on Collision, not on Dynamite. We get this match, and I have no care about Soraya. I have barely seen her wrestle at all. I thought that she's nothing. She might be working on Honor Club. And if she isn't, she's mainly working on Rampage. There's a 1 hour show that means nothing.
The woman over a year and a half ago,
nearly a year and a half ago, that was touted to change the game for AEW's women's division has been stuck on Rampage or ROH. Barely seen on Collision. You see him getting angry and botching on Collision, and almost never seen on Dynamite until now. This match meant nothing to me. Yes, we got Selena Deeps coming out in a very, her boobs may be small, they look good. And she basically nails everyone with a chair and then gets her flag back as the Deeps Dojo. I'm angry. They should have more with this match. Soraya should mean something more, and she's not. Her brother being there should mean something, and it's not. I'm moving on. The final match, which I'm like, really? This closes the show. Really? Oh wait, almost forgot. I almost forgot. Bang Bang Gang. Almost forgot. Bang Bang Gang. Pack. And tell me below, where's that third title? Is that the Undisputed Trios title that Jay White is the only one carrying? Please tell me, guys. Am I wrong that all three of them, one out of the three, is currently holding the Undisputed Trios Championship? Because you look at Austin and Colt, they're still holding on to the ROH titles and the old AEW titles. What is Jay White holding on to? He's holding an ROH title. He's holding on the old AEW title. Tell me that third title isn't the Undisputed title. Because when we heard, why are they not all holding three titles? Why is Jay White holding it and not saying anything about it? Because it seems awkward. It looks like he's got a title from another company. Instead of them either going with the new undisputed titles, or at least him announcing that I am the one, the only trios champion, or something, or having all three of them hold all three titles and say something about it, it looks like he's got another title from another promotion. And it makes no sense they won't say anything about it. And they're talking about Pac. Pac says, boys, I'm glad you woke me up because I had nothing to do. But, he didn't say it exactly, but I'm kind of paraphrasing. But it's unfair. 3-on-1. I got to do something about it. We get Death Triangle back. Now they're going to have a title match at Double or Nothing. Am I wrong about that? Is there anything wrong about that? Yeah. Kind of yes. Because this feels rushed. Like, oh wait, the Trios champions don't really have anything to do. Let's make sure Pac has something to do. Because, well, now that we got Ray back and we got Penta and they're not doing anything, let's just stick them back together in the last few days before Double or Nothing instead of the last couple of weeks before Double or Nothing. Where's the storytelling then? We've had only barely 2 weeks to show that Pac is going to have something with the Bang Bang Gang. 2 weeks. And yeah, you put it on Collision, you put it on Dynamite, but that's not the point. People care the most about Dynamite. And if you throw it on Rampage, which they did, it makes it even less because barely people even watch Rampage. Like I said, put an extra 30 minutes on Dynamite, an extra 30 minutes on Collision, and end Rampage. I don't even want to talk about this match with Satnam Singh and Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson, my mistake, Daniel. It's not Daniel Bryan, it's Bryan Danielson. This shouldn't have been the main event. After what we saw with Malachi Black, that could have ended the show and would have some type of importance because of what's going on with him and Adam Copeland. This should have been Swerve Strickland. But it wasn't. It was Bryan Danielson. And as much people love Bryan, it made no sense to have Satnam Singh here at this moment. Now, I'm not saying Satnam's a terrible wrestler, but it felt wrong to have that match there. Yes, you know who won. There was no way Bryan Danielson was going to win, even though they DQ'd the match. And this was about a bounty that was put on his head along with the Blackpool Combat Club. I understand it. But it felt like it shouldn't have happened here. Shouldn't have. Now, of course, we heard that Darby was banned from the arena. At least until Tony finally showed up, drives him in, gives him a fist bump, and then he's gone. With a flamethrower into the arena, flames everything, scares everybody. I think it was Matt who went and took a table splash. And then you could see the blood in his back because it got him good. He got stabbed pretty bad in the back. He was bleeding in multiple spots on his left side. But we get Darby, who finally showed up because of Tony being able to, supposedly, now drive when he's been stated that he's not supposed to be doing any of that. I was hoping that they would do something special with Tony. And he would not be involved in anything. That the EVPs would be in charge. Until maybe going into Europe, going into All In. Maybe you can make it special. Nope. Tony's just back. Drives a car. Fist pumps. Then he goes in with the flamethrower, scares everybody, and excites everybody. That's what we got at the end. Was this good? I'm going to tell you some of this sucked. Some of it was okay. And some of it was quite good. But mainly due to the fact of everything being out of whack. It makes it hard to say this was incredibly good and focused because it still felt like this. And many of the bookings I don't agree with. But I'm not going to tell you it was 100% bad because it was not. There'll be something that many people love. And there's going to be people that's going to flat out say that this is bullshit. This booking sucks still. And seeing that Tony's back when he shouldn't be there until he's All In makes it worse. But that's just me. And I'm not telling you that I'm against all of this. I'm just telling you what it is. Peace.